And thank you for the prayer. Your prayers are very important to us and what we do. I want to welcome you again and thank you, as usual, for all that you do to improve the lives of our people. And as I always say, whether they know it or not, but it's because of what you do that we see things happening. And I think that's what matters. Today, we're going to talk about what has been an issue done in the media, something that we've been dealing with, the drug issue. We're going to have some presentation, but I'd like to start by saying that public service is not something that you always should expect will be grateful about. And at some point in time, I didn't used to listen to the radio, but this time I do. It's unfortunate that you hear people talking on issues that they have no idea of. One of the ones that amused me a little bit was I was saying that, well, why the man was involved in the drug, he can come all the way from America and report himself. And so it means all the government officials, they are in it so you feel comfortable. Now, nobody got to explain to him how the man came. It's not for him to know it's important that he came. But sometimes you just listen to the radio, all kind of questions, answers, and reason. But that's the job that we have to do. And I thank you for sometimes the courage not to even speak to it, but to do what you do to serve the people. We have been talking about the public sector compensation. I think, as far as I know, in this country, I don't remember when the thorough review was done on, especially the public sector. But we are setting up a committee and we look at the public sector compensations and whatever benefits, at least also have in mind to know that we have an obligation to improve the life, not just of the people outside, but even the people that work with the system. So that committee is going to be set up. It's already told me we're going to officially commission it. On the energy sector, and I'm happy for some of you around here that we have this offer to come and look at our entire electricity problem in the country. Sometimes it doesn't dawn on us, we just think about maybe electricity for light and other things. But when people come to invest in the country, you can tell them go to Ganta, go to where other places, because the real challenge is power, electricity. To set up a factory, for example, we signed an MOU in Kenya the other day to start producing transformers here. These are exercises that consume a lot of power. So you're not going to do them You're not going to tell somebody buy a generator and come and set it up. So we have an offer to come look at giving up power, not just for ourselves, but enough power to even be able to sell. I think the better thing about this offer is that initially we don't have to pay. So this is a blessing in other ways, and we just look forward to doing that. And we want to thank all of you who participated in the discussion to give your blessing. Our job now is to sell it to others. And the public health sector, of course, for some of you who were not here yesterday, when the JFK, for some of you who know JFK for a long time, JFK is not the same JFK that maybe you knew a few years ago. It's a very clean environment, very committed doctors and nurses who have been serving for something very later, but they're willing to serve. And we just thought it's a good idea to stop by and recognize their efforts, say thanks to them and encourage them. That's one area in which you go there with your mind made up, because even if you have your own issues, you're dealing with lives other than yours. But again, you have your own problem, but you commit everything to doing a good job, and we are very grateful for how far JFK has come. And we want to thank the medical people for their services to the country. If you didn't have it, you had to go somewhere. And how many people can afford? Not very many. So we want to thank the medical people for their services to the country. And of course, with all of what we do, the highlight of the play was the Minister of Finance, because and the urban planning, because that's where the blessing comes from. But it goes beyond that. Even for some of you, the other things that you do, even your presence there to go and seek medication is encouraging. So I want to thank the minister and all of those who work in the medical area for their services to the country. By the way, we have plans that we haven't disclosed for JFK, but we just pray that they work. And because JFK is already overburdened, and you can see that JFK that was built several years ago, it cannot accommodate all of the demand, but they're trying their best. But again, I think with the help of the Ministry of Health, we will launch the Universal Health Insurance. I had always believed that even with a well-managed health insurance and people paying whatever they pay is a contribution to most of our people are afraid to go to the hospital, even for the smallest thing, because they think about the money. But maybe that will give them the confidence. And we work it out well. It should be able to help cover some of the costs and encourage our people to attend medical facilities more. So we want to thank the Ministry of Health for the courage to launch it, and looking forward to our legislators and everybody to support them. I am sure that even with a small contribution, it will be well managed. We should be able to enable everybody to go to the hospital. We set up a disaster, we have a disaster committee, and I used to tell the president, simply because you call it disaster committee doesn't mean that it's capable of handling disaster. And the thing about disaster is that even though you can prepare adequately for it, but you need to be prepared in some way. I saw the video from Ghana. I've never seen flood in Ghana like that. And I had to send a message to John Mahama. The whole Accra is flooded. And water, especially water. You can fight fire but without water. And think about water, it comes just when you are very much unprepared. So when I saw Ghana, cars floating, it just gave us the need to know that that can happen here too. Of course, one thing I know about Ghana, sometimes the soil, like Bujumbura, for example, you can pour water on the ground and it will never sink down for a long time. The soil is of the nature that it's hard for things to just soak through. Here it rains and maybe for a short time it disappears. But again, that's the reason we should be encouraging our people to work with the public works, and they try to remove the people from the waterways, because that's the reason. And I think today in Ghana they're breaking down most of those kind of structures. That it's better to prevent it than to break it down. And the people don't understand, they complain. But again, as a job that we have to do, we talk to people, they don't understand, but eventually they will know that it was better that they did it. I can imagine what is happening in Accra now. So we want all of us that have family members, people think, oh, they just give me small land here and build anywhere. We have to talk to them. And it may be in the short term in your best interest when it's dry season. But especially with the climate situation now, you never know. It's been raining in 9 tests in Monrovia, but in Accra more than I ever heard about rain in that area. So we have to be prepared to handle disaster. Today's agenda is on drugs. But before I go to drugs, I've been seeing a lot of communication from almost every ministry about people making this trip for this sustainable development conference. I would like to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, a few of us to sit down to find out really whether everybody has to go, who all should be going. And because it costs money to travel, but not just the money that it costs. We are in the middle of quite a lot of things that are happening in the country. But all the people to just be leaving, and some people want to carry 3, 4, 5 delegates. It's something we have to look at seriously. I don't like to stop people from traveling, because a lot of travels are necessary. some of them pay, but again, you know, you gotta use your own judgment as to whether somebody travels can be deferred or they can be delegated to somebody else. But more than about 30 some letters have come for people to travel. Some people want to care 4 or 5 people. I think we need to talk about it. So today's agenda is on drugs and substance abuse. You will recall that when we took office, the Vice President and I took drug tests, and we also said drug was a major issue in our country, and it was something that we have to deal with as substance abuse and what it's doing to our young people, and also what it does to the country in terms of our reputation. You heard about the 19 million drug that was seized here. So we need to talk about it. We need to make people understand that this is something that we're not going to just, no matter who is involved, what position you hold, nobody will be spared that will get involved in the importation, distribution, or whatever role you play in the drug sector, because it's damaging to our country, it's damaging to the health of our future generation, and we always been seeing a lot of good work that have been done, but again, it looks like it's something that has already been entrenched, that it's a syndicate that we need to break. But the drug epidemic is a national emergency that we have to deal with. And so it will be nice for the cabinet to take a firm position. And so today we are happy that we're going to deal strictly with drug and substance abuse. And so the Director General of the Cabinet will now take over. I don't think it's going to be too long, but at least it's an issue that we have to deal with effectively. Thank you.
Protocol, can you ask the technicians to come in? Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching, by the way. So you just listen to the secretary.
All right, so folks, thank you for following. Quickly, let me just brief you on what the president said within his opening remark in there at the cabinet sitting. This is the 22 cabinet sitting where His Excellency President Joseph Boakai is chairing in there, and today cabinet discussion will focus mainly on the National Anti-Drugs Action Plan of 2025 to 2030, priorities, areas, and key strategies, implementations, and framework, and also there will be update from the multi-sectorial committee, drugs demand reduction update, and also drug supply reduction update, and proposed resolution. And so we have the LDA director in there who will be briefing the president on how far they have gone with this entire drugs investigation. And the president was very frank and clear when he said nobody will be exempted, or what official or whatever you may be, once you contributed to this entire 19 million drugs saga, whether you place a court or one way or the other you contributed to this drug saga, you're going to be prosecuted. The president said that. There are a lot of concerns that have been going out around about Liberians about this entire drugs saga, the delay in the investigation. Why is it there's no suspect yet? Why is it nobody have been arrested? So the president said this is a public the president said for public concern, public may be so anxious to know what is happening, but the president said they are doing everything within our power to make sure that there is a positive result about this entire drugs saga. The president also said that he ain't gonna be working with the Minister of Finance to see how best there some reduction, not induction, but some addition to salaries, especially for public servant. So he make mention about a trip to JFK yesterday, where he met staff, senior staff and local staff at the JFK medical facility. The president said they have planned, which they won't be able to put out now, but they have plan in place for the entire health sector. He commended the Minister of Health for her tremendous work within the health sectors. He also said they will be able to launch the recent health bills that was sent in by the Ministry of Health in order to at least make people to be able to access health affordably and accessibly. So these are issues that the president were able to address, and they are in the cabinet sitting. The outcome of this meeting will be reported any moment from now. So we stick here. We will be around to give you more update about the outcome of today's cabinet meeting. But today's cabinet meeting will focus only on the drugs saga. Thank you for following. I'm Joseph Prince Joe Spoon, Executive National Reporter, and bye-bye.